Hi everyone. I want to share a little teaching on understanding the descendant-ascendant axis in astrology. And this is a promo for the class that I'm going to be teaching on this topic next week. The thing that's really beautiful about the evolutionary astrology perspective is it really entrains the orientation to ask, what does this say about the soul's journey? What does this say about the soul's ongoing journey in awakening? That everything in the chart really has ultimate purpose and relevance. Nothing's just like a statement of personality. Everything has to be ultimately understood from this greater perspective of what does this reflect in the unfolding of the soul's evolutionary journey. So everything has a specific resonance with why we are here, why we are orchestrating and experiencing our life specifically in the ways that we are. And the ascendant-descendant axis is very important in that way. I mean, the ascendant, which is the sign rising when you were born, it sets the tone for the whole chart. It gives placement for all the house system, all the quadrants, how everything is organized. And we can understand the ascendant first as how we are instinctively individuating ourselves, moment to moment. It's how we're moving through life. The basic choices that we're going to make. So the style, the sign of our ascendant is really, the style is the way in which we're going to be moving about through life. It's our general orientation. Oftentimes you don't get far beyond, it's the face you show everyone, right? But we have to ask the question, okay, so why is this your orientation? Why is this how we are generally moving through life? So the beginning steps to unraveling that is, of course, seeing the ascendant in context with the rest of the chart. Kind of holding this detective mentality, thinking first and foremost, okay, you have a Virgo ascendant. Okay, Virgo ascendant has a certain quality to it. Of course, not all Virgo ascendants are going to be the same. And also, not all Virgo ascendant people are going to have the same experience or same struggles in their Virgo experience. So we can see the general quality of Virgo: analytical, self-analysis, organized, and that's, ascendant, your instinctive way of moving forward through life. So now let's say you have a Virgo ascendant, but you have Mercury in Pisces in the sixth house. So this is conditioning that Virgo ascendant. This is actually giving us information for how this Virgo ascendant is manifesting. So you're looking at that Mercury in Pisces in the sixth house. Well, in general, and you can't really understand the Mercury without seeing it in context, but just let's simplify and give an example here. Mercury in Pisces in the sixth house. Will that signature generally default towards feeling very organized and on top of things? Well, it could. But one of the challenges that can often arise with that particular Mercury signature is actually feeling like there's a lot of things to deal with and not knowing how to. And there can be an ongoing experience of crisis, and Pisces not really able to get to the root or the cause or the source of all these things. It can be with one's body or with one's work. And there can be a deep interest in spirituality and spiritual healing, in the merging of science and spirituality, Pisces, sixth house. But there's a whole journey here. There's a whole orientation, Mercury, to the mental way of being, to how we are coordinating ourselves within this world. And so this Virgo ascendant can be indicative of a person that's actually very interested in Pisces spirituality, very interested in really understanding the deeper spiritual principles behind everything in life, learning how to really find deeper healing. But this can also be a soul that feels perpetually disorganized or is always dealing with some sort of autoimmune issue. So then you look at the ruler of Pisces, Neptune. Where's Neptune? Now let's say Neptune's in Sagittarius in the third house, squaring this Mercury. That right there is providing a lot of karmic context, right? So now it's not just a Virgo ascendant, it's a Virgo ascendant with Mercury and Pisces in the sixth. And this Mercury in Pisces in the sixth is squaring Neptune in Sag in the third. This is saying something about where the soul's coming from, how they've oriented to the mental linear sphere in the past. That this is actually bringing us to a context that has existed prior to this lifetime. Whenever we begin working with the planets in context, we're actually seeing a painting of the context that the soul came into this life with. It's really where we left off and what brings us into this particular chapter, this particular incarnation. So for this soul, it can be an individual that in the past has amassed lots of information, right? Neptune the third, sometimes making sense, creating intellectual cohesion, sometimes being confusing, and has been a practitioner, has been a medicine person, has been trying to heal and do things, but has often gotten confused in trying to bring things together that they haven't been able to actually understand. And so there have been a lot of mistakes, a lot of crisis, and a deep sense of spiritual disillusionment in not knowing what to trust, gathering information and then doing something and then being completely wrong. So in this case, at Virgo Ascendant, actually, we can understand there can be a lot of guilt or self-doubt embedded in that Virgo Ascendant based on the soul having had, work to do in the past, having gathered information, and has become very confused by that. Thus, we can understand that this Virgo Ascendant really implies an intention for the soul to become incredibly self-aware and orient towards self-accuracy in this lifetime, because there's a function within their consciousness that is deeply aware of where they've been confused and have thus, Virgo, 6th house, made mistakes. So you take that, now you take the opposite. Virgo Ascendant, you got a Pisces Descendant. When we begin to understand one side of that axis, it's going to default give us a lot of information for the other end of that. This is a really fascinating study. We meet next Tuesday, the 20th, at 12 o'clock Pacific. You can learn more and sign up on my classes page. You can sign up for a single class drop-in, or you can join for the whole series. I hope you will check it out.